As those of you who have read my thesis know, the topic above and beyond the general topic which we all wrote our theses on is questions and the answers to those questions. So most of my time is dedicated to answering your questions. Next week is the second to last week I'm going to be here, and I'm like, whoa. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Tor makes an excellent point. All questions are to be on the topic of the thesis, which is, has Tor taken responsibility for preparing himself to be an effective adult in the larger community? So please, when you're phrasing your questions, keep that in mind.
Basically writing a defense of your adulthood, and then having to prove that you were actually right there when you do that. When you write it and then people say, you were wrong about this, and you go, well, no, I wasn't, here's why. In response to your first question, I'm going to have to go with a general topic, which is discourse. I've had conversations about pretty much everything. I've had, I can remember one time where I spent at least an hour and a half discussing the philosophical merits of a particular conversation path in a specific video game, which is something that most people would think had no real merit, but I think it was actually something that stands out in my mind. Well, I was nervous for the first, 40 seconds, and then I went, wait, why am I nervous? I hope I don't sound too cliched, but I'd like to get rid of things like bigotry and hatred. But on a more realistic scale, I'd like to become someone who has the power to affect, in a larger sense, the path of the world towards those goals. I've thought about a lot of different things. I've thought about being an engineer. I don't know that I'll pursue that path. I've thought about going into law or political science, politics. I can't specify any one thing. I'm going to miss everything about the school. I mean, JC, school meeting, conversations, watching people walk past talking about things and catching snippets. When I finished and Krista said, and that's our time, I was like, and I felt sort of a rush of pride in myself, which is something that I don't get too much. I tend to be more self-deprecating than I should be, I think.
The bad news is Max would like me to drop him off at his house.
The one that she got today.
This is going to.
right.
This is going to.
You wanted that, didn't you? You're like, yay!
I'm going to Ursinus in the fall, Ursinus College in Philadelphia. I also got accepted at St. John's College in Annapolis, and it was a really difficult decision to decide which one of those two I wanted to attend. One way that I intend to adapt to the idea of taking classes, having not done so for quite some time, is remembering that education is in the heart of the listener, not in the voice of the teacher. I've been free my whole life. I've spent the last 6 years at Fairhaven, where freedom is the everything that exists. I mean, being wild is one of the greater things that comes from this educational model, I think. You learn to be impulsive without you learn to be impulsive while being able to control your impulses. You learn to be free while at the same time realizing that there are restrictions you must put on yourself. A wild animal, as opposed to a caged animal, knows chaos and can adapt to it.